So one of the, I get a little deep into theological debates for just a minute this morning. But one of the things that happens in the Academy of Theology, the people that get PhDs in sacred scripture, and a lot of them, unfortunately, don't have faith. They study the Bible as kind of a historical thing. And one of the contentions is that that Jesus never claims to be God in the synoptic gospels, Matthew, Mark, and Luke. It's only in the Gospel of John, and it's a late development and this and that. And it's not true. It's really a fundamental attack on the sacred scripture. I mean, can you imagine? I mean, here's Jesus, and this is not a direct claim of divinity, okay? But he says, if you love your father and mother more than you love me, you're not worthy of me. Now, he's making a pretty bold claim there, isn't he? I mean, a very personal and bold claim. He says in another place in one of the Synoptic Gospels, something greater than the temple is here. And what was the temple? Was God's dwelling place with humanity. And so all we need is eyes to see and ears to hear. But Jesus is making bold statements in the gospel today, isn't he? I mean, you could almost be repulsed a little bit by this. I'm going to come, and loyalty to me is going to divide households, and it better be that way. It better be that you remain loyal to me. And so we are left with who does this guy think he is? God? And he does. In fact, he's telling us in subtle ways of his divinity and his priority. And he is absolutely right that following Christ is going to bring division to the world. And I'm going to try to tie the Old Testament reading this morning and the Gospel together. From the book of Exodus, this is the beginning, really, of the book of Exodus. And if we can remember, last week, Joseph saves the whole of Egypt by his vision and understanding. And he stocks up the food, and he makes sure the famine passes. Well, now we read this. A new king who knew nothing of Joseph. What have you done for me lately? Okay? He forgot all about Joseph. He forgot about the benefit that the nation of Israel had been to him and to Egypt. And so he says, look how numerous they are. Let us deal shrewdly with them. Let us stop their increase. Let us stop their increase. There's too many of them. Now, are there any voices in the world essentially saying, let us stop the increase of humanity? I mean, that's like a political correctness 101. We must put the earth first. And, it's a very kind of, it's not a new argument. If you learn history, you'll learn over and over again this kind of, lack, fear. Let's kill the people because there's too many of them. And so we see that here. And let me tell you something. The first commandment and the first blessing in the Bible is be fruitful and multiply. And we have to trust in God's providence. Right? I mean, we really are a people of life. We are a people who recognize that it was made for us. Now, we have to be good stewards. We have to be smart about it. We have to understand all the challenges that go with it. But I'm here to tell you, Jesus, who is one with the Father, and the first command is be fruitful and multiply. And we see the enemy of life, the enemy of humanity, the enemy of God's people say, let us deal shrewdly with them. And so we're being dealt shrewdly with. And there's this kind of anti-life reality, and it divides the world. Are we pro-life or anti-life? Are we with him or are we against him? And so, yes, I understand it's a struggle to kind of put all of it in our brain, but let's just come down to some very basic realities. Life is a precious gift. God has given us the earth. We have to be good stewards of it, but here we go again. Let us deal shrewdly with them. Let us stop their increase. And we say, no, let us embrace the great gift that life is. And we want beautiful families. We want big families. We want loving families. And we want trust in God's providence. And so he says, don't think I've come just to sing kumbaya. He knows that he is going to be a source of division in the world. I said in a homily a few months or a year or two ago, don't be afraid of division. Be afraid of being on the wrong side of the division.